Hey preppers, Homestead Prepper, and I want to talk a little today about 72-hour bags, bug out bags, survival bags, get home bags, whatever you want to call it. And my question to you is at the end of 72 hours and you've exhausted your supplies, what are you going to do? Now you can carry all this stuff I've got right here, and you're going to be very miserable. And I've done that before, tried to carry too much stuff, camping, hiking, so that I could, maintain a level of comfort. And I was miserable trying to lug this stuff, especially when you start going in the Shenandoah Valley uphill at the Jonesboro Pass. But basically, all you need to survive is a little know-how and just this stuff right here. And if you have the ability to make a fire, which this lighter right here will make quite a few fires. I've got lighters that are 15 years old that still work. So they last a long time. You need a backup way to make a fire. These things, I've had good luck with these. My waterproof matches, I guess, are packed up in there. But basically that, and you don't need a fancy knife. This is my old knife. I use this all the time for all kinds of stuff. This will work. And if you can start a fire, you can get a cup and you can boil some water, and if there's chemicals in it from your fire, you can take the charcoal out and you can put that in there and get the chemicals out of the water. So right there is really all you need. And this is light years ahead of what our ancestors had. Our ancestors didn't have this fancy stuff to make fires. They didn't have, I'm talking about our really old ancestors, they didn't have steel knives, and they didn't have metal cups to boil their water. Oh, and if you're wondering, this is the filament out of a high-pressure sodium lamp, and I use that to sharpen my knife. But really, the basics, and you can get by. Now, I know some of y'all are saying, "Well, I've got to have my mosquito repellent here." Okay, well, yeah, especially down here in the South. Yeah, you better be having some mosquito repellent. But what happens when you run out? What are you going to do then? You're just going to be food for the mosquitoes, unless you have a little knowledge. And I'm going to share something with you while we're talking about this. We can just walk right over here. And I guess a lot of y'all probably already know this, but this is the beautyberry plant, and the native Indians around here use these leaves. What they do is they break these leaves off, and they would just rub the juice on them, and it repels mosquitoes. Now, does it work as good as off? No. Do you have to keep applying these? Yes. But the beautyberries, these things turn like a magenta purple, and they are edible. But this wards off mosquitoes. Now, I don't have a wax myrtle plant over here in my yard, but those ward off mosquitoes too, and you can even boil them and get wax out of them. But so a little knowledge is going to take you a long way. Now, everything else we have is just basically for convenience. And I know y'all are saying, well, I don't have any food right here. Well, no, you don't have any food. But if you have this knife and you have some brains, you can catch some food. There's even natural cordage around here, if I can find one. Let me shut it off. I didn't have to walk far. Anyway, I don't know the name of this plant right here, but it grows all over. And the vines, you can tie them in knots, and it's like a natural cordage. And also these leaves, if you boil them, they're edible too. I don't know the name of it, but like I said, with natural cordage, you can make a trap if you have the know-how on how to do it. And you say, well, I need some food now. I don't have time to trap. Well, what you really need in a survival situation is you need food, water, and shelter. And the importance of those varies depending on your situation. Like, for example, if you were in the middle of a snow blizzard, you would probably need some shelter over some water at that time. Conversely, if you're out in a hot desert, well, you might need some water more than you need some shade or shelter. So, but the basics are food, water, shelter, okay? And then we build on, you need security. Okay, and some people say, well, I got to have the rule of threes. I got to have 3 of everything. Well, hey, that's great. I agree. But like I said, just the basics can get us by. And I'm going to show you a little bit of course, now I want a little more than the basics to get me by. So what you're looking at here is some stuff, and I try to travel light as best I can. Of course, it doesn't always work. Now this is a medical bag I got off of Cheaper and Dirt. I guess it was about $50. And it has all kinds of neat stuff in it. It's got sutures. It's got bandages. It's got airways. I think it's a really good kit for the money, and it comes in this nice little thing. And also, if you're prepping, you probably want to have some of these on hand too, because if we have an event like Fukushima happen, you can get these from Cheaper and Dirt too. I forgot what I paid for them, but they weren't very expensive. And you can have, it's got all kinds of junk in it, and it's even got room you can add to it. So yeah, I'm big into first aid and having the right stuff, and you also need to know how to use it. And also got another thing over here, a couple more first aid kits. I might have to hand that off to somebody. Bandages, irrigation bottles. And I've also got another thing that has ibuprofen and Imodium and towelettes and hydrogen peroxide. And just the basics is really all you need for that. Something else that would come in really handy in a bug out situation, and this is a CamelBak. This holds about 3 liters of fluid. I got one for me and for my wife, and we can find some clean water, or we can boil it, and we can fill up this thing, and that'll usually, I've noticed on my little treks out in the back country, I seldom drink more than a gallon a day, and that's humping it. So this would last pretty long time. So that's a good thing to have, a CamelBak. And now if you want to upgrade, from the cup here, these are nice little things to have. And like I said, you can pass these out to needy people. These are $10, and these are good for 20 gallons. And no, 20 gallons won't see you through an emergency for months or whatever, but it will last you quite a while. I've got this filter right here, one of these. I think it was around $80, but it's good for 500 gallons. So there again, you better have some way to boil your water and purify it after these things are used up. Okay, I also carry some bandanas, and this is like a camouflage netting right here that could come in very handy, especially for hiding yourself or covering yourself up from the mosquitoes. And I have more mosquito netting, because where I live it's loaded with them. And more bandanas, got some insulated gloves, socks, one other first aid kit. I carry 300 feet of paracord 550 with me, because that has many uses, and a poncho. And these are just some Walmart or grocery bags that I've vacuumed out in case I need to, put something in a bag and carry it. Who knows what it would come in handy for something. Let's see, what else do we have here? This is my sleeping bag, jungle bag, and this comes with like a mosquito hood over it, so you can sleep and not have thousands of little bites all over you. And a mistake, like I said, that most people make on their bug out bag is they don't have any way to, you don't have any way to get home and survive. And I think if you're going to have a bug out bag or a survival bag, you should have some way to survive. And the best thing, or one of the best 2 things that you can have, is you need to have one of these. Now, I don't carry that in my bag. I carry that on me, and that's of course a Glock 17. Y'all seen that before. And I recommend that you get at least 5 magazines. Now, if you want to get the factory ones, you know, that's up to you. I happen to like the Glock factory magazines. You know, if you carry a 45, you probably want to get the Colt brand. Get a good, decent brand, you know, and because you can't go wrong with firepower, especially in a crappy situation. And if you really want to survive, what you can do right here. Now, this is my bag. This is just a regular size backpack right here. And what I have is I have that, and I have this. Now, this is not a break barrel. This is a standard Ruger 1022. And all I've done is I just took the screw out of here, and there's a screw right here, and that's how it comes apart, and it fits in my backpack. Now, you can go and buy the new Ruger break barrel 22. I think that's a great idea, but I've already got this one, and it'll fit in my backpack. Now, I know a lot of y'all are saying, oh, well, that's not going to do you any good out there. That's too small. 22 is too small. You know, I mean, if you want to carry a Barrett 50 cal and 2,000 rounds of ammo with you, hey, you know, send me a video. I'd love to see that. That would be great. You know, if you want to carry something a little heavier firepower than that, that's great too. But this is what I'm carrying. This is what I'm doing. A 22 is going to service all my needs. And then if I couple it up here to these Ruger magazines, which I recommend you carry 5 of those too, and that'll give you a little firepower. And you know, is it going to be as good? Is it going to have as much power as a Mosin Nagant? No. Is it going to be as good as an AK-47 or an AR-15? No. But this is for survival, and I can hunt a bunch of squirrels and possums, coyotes, foxes. Also, if somebody is after me, I can lay down a good fire. Now, yeah, I know that's not that impressive right there, that 22 caliber hole. But if someone were firing this at me, I don't want to get hit by it. You know, like I said, in your bug out bag, you do what you want to do. This is just what I'm doing. So we can put that over there, and you could even cut this, because I mean, it's not like there's any recoil to speak of there. And I don't carry this in my bag. I carry this in my truck. It's just an assortment of ammo. Get some good quality 22 ammo. And I've got some 45 for barter. I've got this is 9mm. You know, I'm going to carry that for my Glock. And if you go with the 22, I recommend you get as much 22 ammo as you can. Now, what you're looking at here is 3 boxes of 550. Now, I know that's the cheap stuff. Now, I have some, like I said, some better Stinger stuff over there. And I've got some more 9mm. So my question is, you know, how much ammo do you want to carry? You know, you start carrying around, you know, 1,000 rounds of 7.62 by 39. Yeah, you can carry it. You can carry it. You can carry around 1,000 rounds of 5.56. But if you carry around 1,000 rounds of this, it's not going to take up much room, and it still has a little weight to it. And the survival potential is awesome. And like I said, this is my opinion. Also get some cheap gloves, and I've got some MREs, and I've got some homemade MREs. You can make those yourself, you know, just to get you by for a while. And now that's not everything I'm carrying, but that's quite a bit for my bug out plan, and I just thought I'd share that with y'all. Homestead Prepper out.